What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Lakochi Films. I wanted to talk to you guys today about the gear that I bring to every real estate shoot. Jumping right into it, let's talk about the camera, which is the EOS R6. Now, I chose this camera because I came from the EOS R, so I already knew the Canon system, but I was looking for a camera that shot 4K 60 frames per second so I could slow that down and get sharp, clean images, and because it shot 10-bit 422 in C-Log, and I get really nice colors out of that camera. So that's the main reasons why I got the Canon R6. Now, as far as photography goes, I know it does have a 20 megapixel sensor, and some people might think that's not enough, but in real estate, you're really not cropping in a whole lot, so it's worked perfectly fine for me, and I think it's more than enough. I don't think you need to get a 45, 50 megapixel camera for real estate photography. The second piece of gear, or pieces of gear I should say, are my lenses, which I'm not gonna go too in-depth on because I did a video on that previously, which I will link right here, but I have a 15 to 35 millimeter lens, a 24 to 105 millimeter, and my nifty 50 1.8. So moving on to drone, I do shoot on a DJI Mavic Air 2S, and this drone is great because it shoots 10-bit as well as my camera and in D-Log, and shoots 5.4K, so it gives me extra room to crop in if I need to, in case I don't get a shot perfectly right. And as far as photography goes, I love it because it does shoot 5 different exposures, which blending them together gives you a lot more room to push and pull colors and exposures and all of that as well. So as far as stabilizers go, I do have the DJI RSC2, which I think is more than enough, holding Canon R6 with a 15 to 35 millimeter lens. It's a fairly heavy setup. I know there are bigger setups out there, but it holds that setup perfectly fine. I also did add the small rig dual grip, which I think really helps out with stabilization as I'm moving through the homes. Helps with the wobbling. The only thing I really have to worry about is just my steps and going up and down, but otherwise, especially when I speed ramp through listings, I'm not getting as many wobbles as I used to. So as far as photography goes, I do have a tripod, which I think is pretty self-explanatory. If you're doing real estate photography, you need a tripod, so let's move on. Lastly is audio, and my go-to audio source is the Tascam DR10L with a lav mic. So you just pin this to the person using it, and I always suggest, if you can, get 2 of these, just because you never know if you're going to have more than one person needing to talk on camera at the same time. But it is the cleanest audio source you can get because it's the closest to the mouth. You're not going to have as much wind or ambient noise in the area. And as a backup source, I also have a Rode VideoMic Pro, which I'm using right now, so you can kind of tell how that audio is, but I just keep that on the camera just in case these fail, but you just hope that never happens. All right, so that's it for my gear that I use for every real estate shoot. If you have any questions or want me to go more in depth on any of these pieces of gear, please let me know in the comments, and I will see you guys in the next one.